కన్సర్న్ వాళ్ళతోటి అప్పుడప్పుడు మాట్లాడుతూ ఉండడం చేత సమ్ ఇన్సైట్ వీ డూ హ్యావ్ అబౌట్ వాట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఇన్ ది గవర్నమెంట్. 2014లో when Modi was selected and he became the Prime Minister, ఇంగ్లాండ్ నుంచి వచ్చే ఒక మ్యాగజైన్ ఉంది, డైలీ పత్రిక, ద గార్డియన్ అని. దాంట్లో ఎడిటోరియల్లో దే మేడ్ వన్ కామెంట్ విచ్ ఈజ్ ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్లీ సిగ్నిఫికెంట్. దే సెడ్ ఇన్ ద ఎడిటోరియల్ దెన్, ద బ్రిటిష్ హ్యావ్ ఫైనల్లీ లెఫ్ట్ ఇండియా. 2014లో 1947లో మనకు ఇండిపెండెన్స్ వచ్చింది. 2014లో బ్రిటిష్ హ్యావ్ ఫైనల్లీ లెఫ్ట్ ఇండియా అంటూ ఒక బ్రిటిష్ డైలీ పేపర్ హ్యాస్ అబ్జర్వ్ దట్. సో దాని ఇంప్లికేషన్ ఏమిటంటే, ఆ బ్రిటిష్ వాళ్ళు పాలించిన రోజులలో ఉన్న మనస్తత్వం నుంచి మనం ఇంకా బయటపడలేదు. మన యాటిట్యూడ్స్ కానీ, మన థింకింగ్ కానీ, మన వర్కింగ్స్ కానీ వాటిలోంచి బయటపడలేదు. మనదంటూ ఒక పంధా ఏర్పాటు చేసుకోలేదు. అంత పెద్ద దేశానికి, అంత చరిత్ర ఉన్న దేశానికి కావలసిన వ్యవస్థ నిర్మాణం కానీ మనం చేసుకోలేదు. ఇప్పుడు వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళిపోయినారు అని ఆయన అబ్జర్వ్ చేశారు. అదొక సిగ్నిఫికెంట్ థింగ్. అంటే ఇట్ మీన్స్ దట్ యూ స్టార్టెడ్ సీయింగ్ ఏ డిఫరెంట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్ ఆల్ టుగెదర్ ఫ్రమ్ 2014 ఆన్వర్డ్స్. వాళ్ళు ప్రభుత్వంలోకి వచ్చి 11 సంవత్సరాలు అయింది, 12 సంవత్సరాలు అవుతుంది మేకల్లా. గవర్నమెంట్ మీద దెర్ ఇస్ నాట్ ఈవెన్ వన్ మేజర్ ఎలిగేషన్, సబ్స్టాన్షియేటెడ్ ఎలిగేషన్ ఆఫ్ కరప్షన్. At the highest level, corruption has been managed in the country. Lower levels lo, when you go to offices, corruption still might be there. అదంత ఈజీగా పోదు, అంత ఈజీ కాదు అది. అది పైనుంచి ఆ ట్రికిల్ డౌన్ ఎఫెక్ట్ రావడానికి ఇట్ టేక్స్ లాట్ ఆఫ్ టైం. నెంబర్ 1. నెంబర్ 2, state governments are ruled by various other people also. Not only the BJP, but various other parties are also ruling. So central government cannot interfere with the state government in these matters. As you know, as per the Constitution of India, the subjects that are to be handled by the government of India and the respective states are divided. ఒకటి స్టేట్ లిస్ట్ అంటారు. స్టేట్ లిస్ట్లో సర్టన్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ ఆర్ లిస్టెడ్. ఆ సబ్జెక్ట్స్లలో లెజిస్లేటివ్ అథారిటీ అంతా ఈజ్ వెస్టెడ్ విత్ ది స్టేట్స్. సెంటర్ కెనాట్ ఇంటర్ఫియర్ ఇన్ దట్. దేర్ ఆర్ సర్టన్ సబ్జెక్ట్స్ విచ్ ఆర్ లిస్టెడ్ ఇన్ ద సెంట్రల్ లిస్ట్. వాటి మీద లెజిస్లేటివ్ అధికారం అంతా సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్కి ఉంది. స్టేట్ కెనాట్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్ అబౌట్ ఇట్. థర్డ్ లిస్ట్ ఈజ్ దేర్, కంకరెంట్ లిస్ట్ అంటారు. ఈ కంకరెంట్ లిస్ట్లో ఉండే సబ్జెక్ట్స్ మీద స్టేటు లా చేయొచ్చు, సెంట్రల్ లా చేయొచ్చు. ఉదాహరణకు ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఈజ్ ఇన్ కంకరెంట్ లిస్ట్. ఇట్ వాజ్ నాట్ ఇన్ కంకరెంట్ లిస్ట్ ఒరిజినల్లీ. డ్యూరింగ్ ఇందిరా గాంధీ ప్రెసిడెన్షిప్ దిస్ ఐటమ్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ బ్రాట్ ఇన్ టు ది కంకరెంట్ లిస్ట్. సో దీంట్లో చట్టాలు ఇద్దరు పాస్ చేయొచ్చు. బట్ ఇద్దరు పాస్ చేస్తే కాన్ఫ్లిక్ట్ రావచ్చు కదా అనే సమస్య వస్తుంది. బట్ ఇఫ్ కాన్ఫ్లిక్ట్ వచ్చేట్టుగా ఉంటే సెంట్రల్ గవర్నమెంట్ చట్టం ప్రివైల్ అవుతుంది. ఇట్స్ ఆల్సో ఇట్స్ క్లియర్ ఇన్ ది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అన్నమాట. ఆ రకం లేకుండా కంట్రీ హ్యాస్ బీన్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్. పార్టీలు మారినా, కొత్త కొత్త పార్టీలు వచ్చినా కూడా ట్రాన్సిషన్ ఆఫ్ పవర్ హ్యాస్ బీన్ ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్లీ స్మూత్. దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్ క్లియర్ ఇండికేషన్ ఆఫ్ ఏ స్ట్రెంథనింగ్ డెమోక్రటిక్ ట్రెడిషన్స్ ఇన్ ద కంట్రీ. ఒక పార్టీ గెలిచి వచ్చిన తర్వాత పవర్లోకి వస్తుంటే నువ్వు అట్లా గెలవలేదు, ది టైప్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్ దట్ వి విట్నెస్డ్ లాస్ట్ టైమ్ వెన్ ట్రంప్ వాజ్ డిఫీటెడ్ హియర్. దట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ సిచ్యువేషన్ నెవర్ అరోజ్ ఇన్ ఇండియా. దో ఇండియా ఈజ్ రిలేటివ్లీ ఎ యంగ్ డెమోక్రసీ విస్ అమెరికా. ఆ పరిస్థితి ఎప్పుడు లేదు. ఇంటర్నల్ కాన్ఫ్లిక్ట్స్ ఉన్నా, డిఫరెన్స్ ఒపీనియన్ ఉన్నా, ద రిజల్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది ఎలక్షన్ రిజల్ట్స్ ఆర్ రెస్పెక్టెడ్. దాని మీద కామెంట్స్ వస్తుండొచ్చు కాక, ఇంకా చేస్తే బాగుండొచ్చు కాక, బట్ ఫైనల్ లా ప్రివైల్ అండ్ దట్స్ హౌ కంట్రీ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ ఆన్. దిస్ ఈజ్ వన్ మేజర్ థింగ్. సెకండ్ థింగ్ ఈస్, apart from managing corruption, they are focused. The present government have focused on building up infrastructure in a big way. All of you would know that during 1929, there was a depression in USA. During the depression, to bring the economy out of that situation, apudunna presidents, they have thought of the taking up a major road work The road networks that you see today was built up during 1929. And that way they are almost 100 years ahead of us. ఇండియా కనుక చూసుకుంటే ఇండియాలో ఇట్లాంటి నెట్వర్క్ ఒకటి మనం తెచ్చుకోవాలన్న మొదటి ఆలోచన వాజ్పేయి గారి గవర్నమెంట్లో వచ్చింది 1996-95-6లో గోల్డెన్ క్వాడ్రిలేటరల్ పేరుతోటి
ఇంగ్లీష్లోనే కంటిన్యూ చేయండి.
సో హీ సార్ట్ ఆఫ్ brought about this situation in India. He started the project also as golden quadrilateral in a very serious manner, but subsequently they lost power and two regimes of Congress government was there. That time it was going a bit slow. They did not give that much importance, but after the present government has come back to power in 2014, it has been moving very rapidly and revolutionized type of work is going on roads, ports, airports, railway stations. If you travel in a train, every railway station you will find there is an improvement. What we have seen in the past, what we are witnessing now. So reaching to the people's services which the government of India has in their hands, providing roads, providing proper railway facilities, ports and airports and other things, a lot of infrastructural development is going on. For that purpose, where they got the sudden money? It is not as though they have increased the taxes, but where did they get the money? They got the money because the money that was going as a leakage from the budgets has been arrested in a big way. Rajiv Gandhi, when he was a prime minister, he was addressing the collectors conference across the country. He said, if I give 1 rupee, only 10 paisa is going to the place where it has to go. The balance 90% is going by leakage. This is a comment made by him in a public meeting, in a meeting with the collectors conference. Now that has been arrested. If direct benefit is to be given as a cash to people, some beneficiaries, at the click of a button, that money directly goes into the account of the individual beneficiary. For that, 35 crores, 350 million bank accounts have been opened. Every bank employee felt it's a burdensome thing. Why the hell this man is doing all these things? What is the use of this? People are slowly realizing what is the importance of that. Now today there is a digital payment. The best digital payment in the world is in India. You go on the street wide, a street vendor uses the digital payment mode. He is illiterate. That did not prevent him from adopting technology. Country has adopted technology like nobody's business. That it needed a vision for that, and this government had that vision in a big way. In all the areas, if you take in the major areas, in all the areas you will find a significant improvement. Railways, they have introduced new railway tracks, new types of railways. Now the strategy is this, slowly, because we are not self-dependent on oil, hydrocarbon-based fuels. We are importing. So whole idea is to try to reduce our dependence on the imports. On the one hand, you make all railway lines electrification. So you are not using diesel any longer. Number one. Number two, make it much more attractive for even the middle class people, middle class plus people to travel in the trains. Reduce the fuel charge cost on the airlines. And then power generation, if you see solar power generation that has been created, it's mind-boggling. It is run into gigawatts. Almost, there is a plan to reach up to 30% level of solar power in very short time. In a record level, this has been done. Now, it has a trickle effect. I can indicate to you, I am living in an apartment in Yusufguda. We have installed a solar system on that, and then we are saving 50,000 rupees per month on electricity bill. We invested about 20-21 lakhs and we are going to recover it in 3 years' time. To that extent, for the people who are residing, we have not increased the monthly maintenance charges for the last 5 years. maintained at the same level.
Amazing.
No, it means you are looking into that type of thinking, and unconventional thinking is coming down to the operational level. Government also have given some incentives for setting up solar panels on individual homes. They have taken up a big construction of housing activity for people. That is also going on. So, in a way, in terms of developmental effort, it's a radically different development that is happening in the country. Still, we have to go a long way. Ultimately, at the cutting edge level, whether we have been able to reduce or minimize the corruption levels, still this is a job yet to be done by the government. So the pressure will start coming on the individual governments. People will start demanding that type of situation. Why it is not happening? If Government of India could do, why you are not doing it? That type of vocal pressure will have to start building up within the country itself. This is one. On the ideological side, government today, if I am a Hindu, I don't hesitate to say I am a Hindu. Of course, I address many meetings and public meetings also. I proudly say I am a Hindu. Thousands and thousands of people were gathering in various meetings. I used to talk to them as a part of the President Vivekananda Sardha Chati Samaroh, 150 years of celebrations of Swami Vivekananda. I was the chairperson for the combined state. State was not divided by them. As that responsibility, I was touring all the districts, all the universities. I was talking to university professors along with the vice chancellors. So therefore, point I am trying to say is, these type of changes have come about. Today, a Hindu does not feel inhibited to call himself a Hindu. It's because overall narration started changing. People felt bad, even the so-called intellectuals felt bad to say that I am a Hindu. Now that is coming down, almost it has come down to a very lower levels. Still, a lot more work has to be done. If you have to know a little bit of history, during Indira Gandhi's time, when she was weak, she relied on the communists also. A lot of senior communist leaders resigned from the Communist Party and infiltrated the Congress. They were ticket holders in Communist Party, but they gave up that and joined there. Some names like Nandini Satpathy, who worked as Chief Minister of Orissa,
Kumar Mangalam.
Kumar Mangalam. People like that, they were staunch communist leaders. They joined Congress and started influencing the Congress party from within. Now have joined there, they know that they won't come to power by themselves anytime, but they enjoyed the power through positions and powers in universities and other things. Some of you must have seen the happenings in Jawaharlal Nehru University in Delhi. I had an occasion to do a little bit of research into this. I found that when the bill was originally introduced, it was introduced by a great man, M.C. Chagla, who was one Chief Justice of Bombay High Court. He was a Muslim, but he was not a Muslim in the sense, in the typical understanding that we have about them, but he was absolutely clean, objective, and he introduced the bill for starting up a new university, for putting up a very high level of science and technology. That was his idea, to convert the Jawaharlal Nehru University. But finally, the communist friends, they have intervened, and Congress allowed them to mutilate the original content of the bill, and it became a base for social sciences. And the communists have been given an occasion to have their own dens there, and it became a den for communist propaganda. Such like that, there are several other universities. They are making an effort through university students associations and other things to slowly reduce their influences. That is slowly coming down. The third thing that would be important thing for us is, as people who are NRIs, having a link with the country, is to know how the narratives are built up against the country. That's extremely important. Rahul Gandhi comes here and he says, why America is not interfering in the democratic process of India. You can't be more stupid than that. how does belonging to a party of Congress, which is a grand old party of the place, and he belongs to that family, he comes here and says that why are you not interfering in my country? And invite them to interfere in my country. And there are other members, George Soros, there is one gentleman here with a lot of rich money, stinking money. He would like to spend a lot of money. So there are methods and methodologies which we are opposing these things. I have not told in detail. I hold 3 responsibilities today. After my retirement in 2008, since then I have been wedded to this social work. Right now I am having 3 responsibilities. One is I am the president of South Central Zone for Vidya Bharati. Vidya Bharati is an all India educational body which runs about 24,000 schools with about 35 lakh students and 1.5 lakh teachers. So I am the president for Telangana, Andhra and Karnataka, for all the 3 states. That's one responsibility. Through that, we have also started taking countermeasures by sensitizing our teachers and students across the country. A proper methodology. The second one is, I am also the chairman of the trust, Samskruti Foundation, which starts working on cultural introduction to college students, because they are getting exposed to Western culture, but they don't know what is our culture. So we try to take and put it as a menu before them as to what is our culture. Now this is the thing that Samskruti Foundation is doing. Actually, we have received an award. I have received last year an award from the governor for the work that we are doing in Samskruti Foundation. Third one is, I am also the chairman of a trust. These 2 are trusts for Diksha Academy for Civil Services. We train people for appearing for civil services examination, guide them on the interviews by having a panel of officers who are all my colleagues or senior members. We invite them. All these 3 responsibilities are purely voluntary in nature. I don't take a pie from anybody, rather I put a pie there. Purely voluntary in nature. So along with me, we try to sort of associate some. Recently, for instance, we have introduced another colleague officer by name Subramaniam. He was a chief secretary of government of Andhra Pradesh as my vice president in Vidya Bharati. See, I am nearing 80 and 78 now. So we have picked up another person to slowly take over the responsibility of the president when I decide to totally withdraw from these active responsibilities. So that's how institutions are also being built up, and then countering the type of narratives which I talked about against, there are 3 things that we notice there in terms of the narratives. One is the left-driven narrative. The left-driven narrative simply says they do not believe in the past history of that country. They do not want our people to know what is our past history. No, it's not just a hearsay. Mao Zedong, by leading the Chinese movement in China, after they came to power, he changed the script of Mandarin. Mandarin is Chinese language. All of you know that. The script has been changed so that the then current generation will have no occasion to read the old books. So it is a philosophy, ingrained philosophy, that they should not allow people to know their history. They will have to read the books written by them. Written by them to an agenda. All along, our people were reading those books only. Except a few of us who are associated with RSS and other things. I was a Bal Swayamsevak. I have been in RSS Swayamsevak for the last more than 60 years or so. So such people are different. But normal students have no occasion to know about what was our real history. Now, in 2020, the present government brought about a new education policy, national education policy, which is trying to say, you know what it says? It should be basing on the ethos of this country, civilizational ethos and cultural aspects of this country. Education should be tuned towards that. Now, not only this government said this now, Khosla Committee chairman in 1960s, that was the first educational commission in the country, while giving his recommendation, he said one point, our intellectuals, they have their center of gravity in Western Europe. The center of gravity should change to Bharat, India. That's what he said, nobody bothered about it. Now today this government is thinking in terms of bringing down that center of gravity into Bharat. So all the connected issues are being implemented. They have already started implementing. It was a big activity. Actually, during the COVID time, I addressed about 150 online meetings on this propagation of NEP 2020, meeting even parents online, talking to parents about this and then taking to various levels. So now it's under process of implementation. Now this is one type of activities that is going on. All-round development is taking place. But are we totally happy? No. Still there is a lot more to be done. You know what happens? When you are being fed good food, you start raising your own expectations about good food. It's something like that. This government is giving a lot of good things. Therefore, they are also raising the expectations of the people. That's a positive thing. That brings pressure on the government in turn. There's nothing to be bothered about it. It's seen as a positive sign in the developmental process of any country. That's what is happening today. Hopefully, things are looking good. We hope the present government will continue for some more years, at least 2 more terms, to bring it to some safe level wherein a new person, a new regime which comes, it becomes difficult for them to make the process irreversible. Yeah. See, what happens is, there are a lot of colleagues of mine, either retired or working, who have started their career during the earlier regimes. They already have a certain set of mind. It is not easy to wash out them, brainwash them, to bring them to this level. Internally, they still feel that they have lost something. But now today they are being made accountable. So that's a challenge to the bureaucracy also. But bureaucracy can definitely live up to the expectations on them if it is properly guided. And I think things would move on properly. And people like you as NRIs, extend your support to such government through your own families and friends, through your own voice, in whatever manner that voice could be extended. So I will stop about the present government and other things at this stage. And we will have in the end, we'll have a few, some time we'll spend on question hours. You have some questions, you can ask some questions at that time. Now a few experiences across the spectrum of experience that I have in 40 years or so. A few examples I thought I would narrate to you personally. Some of you were mentioning we are from Rajahmundry and Malappuram and other places. I worked as a joint collector in East Godavari in 1991-92. That's the time during Godavari Pushkarams came. During Godavari Pushkarams at that time, one major development that I took up, I was joint collector in the district there was one Pushkaralapeta, if old people would know the name. Something like 15,000 people were living on the Godavari Gattu, along the coast, embankment of Godavari. Wow. And they were letting out all their defecation into the river. Downline about 1 furlong or 2, we were lifting water for drinking water from Godavari river. In the upstream, the water is getting polluted through these things, and we were lifting that water for drinking water purpose. It's a different matter, we might be treating it, but still, to start with, you start with a higher level of pollution. So we thought we should shift them to a different location. So luckily, we won a case in land ceilings, agricultural land ceilings case, going up to Supreme Court, and we were able to take about 200 acres of land as a single plot, 8 kilometers away from Rajahmundry. A new township was built up there, and all these 15,000 people have been shifted there. And in this area, we developed a social forestry. Now you won't find any remnants of that when you go to Rajahmundry railway station. So that sort of it gives a opportunity. It all depends upon your own originality. Within the confines of the government, within the rule book of the government, there will be a tremendous amount of scope for officers to work and meet the local nuances, requirements and other things. In addition to the government policy initiatives, anyway, they have to be implemented, you have to implement them. But all this means you have to do some more extra work. If you are prepared for that, opportunities will be available. That is one. And another important experience in East Godavari itself was in 1990s. There was a big cyclone. During that cyclone, you had wind speeds ranging up to 200 kilometers per hour. Almost more than 100 miles per hour. You can imagine the hurricanes and other things, various types of such natural calamities come out here. So it was a devastating effort. A lot of officers are deployed there because I worked as joint collector there earlier. So I was sent there to look after the work in Amalapuram area. Amalapuram area at that time, it's a revenue division with about 10 lakh population those days. There are about 400 villages. In these 400 villages, there are tanks, individual tanks. These tanks are fed by irrigation water, irrigation canal water. Then they do little bit of what you call, by putting chlorine and other things, a superfluous refining of the water, use that for drinking water purposes. And the villagers manage it reasonably, they protected themselves. All these canals feeding the water have been destroyed, irrigation canals. All these tanks were destroyed. So I was sent there to restore the canals and the tanks. That was the job given to me because of my local knowledge of that area, having worked in that place. So I went there for 1 or 2 days. I went around the whole area to understand the issues and identify people who will work with me. You need a lot of workers to clean up the area and restore all those things. I was not able to find any workers. Workers are missing. Nowhere workers are available. Where do I do this work? How do I restore all this? And then how do I do it? I was agonizing virtually, feeling very seriously as to what is going to happen. 10 lakh people drinking water. In the meanwhile, water is being supplied by them through tankers. And these tankers are spoiling the roads. And we don't know, from all sorts of places they were bringing the tanker water. How good is that water? We don't know. Suddenly epidemics break out, then that becomes a totally new problem to manage. These are all the worries working in my mind. So I also had a word with my other colleagues who were in the other areas they were working. Finally I decided I'll go to Rajahmundry Central Jail. I went to Rajahmundry Central Jail and asked the jailer, please produce before me 100 of your most hardcore criminals who are doing life sentence for certain major crimes committed by them. I was asking, why do you need those criminals? You will come to know why I need them. I will talk to them, bring them here. So you produce 100 of them. So I told them, this is my problem. Can you help me? First of all, it was beyond their thinking whether somebody will come and ask them that type of question, that type of request. They are hardcore criminals serving jail sentence for life. Somebody is asking that he will take us to the field to work. So I was trying to convince them, you see, the society has recognized you as criminals. The courts have given you a punishment. I'm sure a number of times you also would have felt, I shouldn't have done this job, started having some sort of repentance in your minds. Now here is an opportunity for you for that repentance. You will be serving the society through this. Your guilt feeling, you can reduce our guilt feeling by serving the society. For the work that you do, you will get your wages, not just wages, 1.5 times the wages. That will go into your account. That's not an issue for me. But as far as you are concerned, at the individual level, you will feel that you are reducing your guilt and you are serving the society. They had a lot of questions. It took me almost 4 hours to convince them. Finally, they were convinced that they will come with me. No, I had to take them and take the work in the open area. So I asked the police constable who was standing, SI was there, will you give us some escort? Yes, sir, he said. What you would give? You would give me 2 home guards. Home guards are not even regular police. They are contract type of employees. He did not have them because his force is spread out in various other places for various other assignments. There is nothing that he could do. I said, fine, you give me only that much. Now for me, while I am having this discussion, word has gone to my colleagues in other places. So they rang me up. What the hell are you doing? What happens if these chaps will run away? What happens to your job? How do you account yourself to government? I said, if one person goes away, I'll substitute for him in the jail. I'll go and sit in the jail in his place. But what about a second person goes? That's the government lookout. I'm already in the jail. There's nothing that I can do. But I had a confidence that these people will not betray me. You know, the 4 hours gave me an opportunity to sensitize them also through various means, examples, and other things. Those days, we used to hear about a movie that has come in Hindi, Do Aankhein Bara Haath. I don't know whether you ever heard of Shilparamam's movie.
Yeah, you've seen that.
So it was there in my mind. But it works there or not, we don't know. But I was feeling confident that these chaps will not go away. And if I are properly motivated, 100 solid persons, you can do any amount of work. So finally, they came along with me with 2 home guards. Took them there. What was to take place something like 2 to 2.5 months, it's enough to say that I completed the job in 15 days flat. And you know, I was working with them. I was 24 hours, I was with them. I was sleeping in my car, I was attending to natural calls in the open layer somewhere there, and joining hands with them. They were working round the clock by shifts to reduce the time required for completion of the jobs. In the meanwhile, asked all the villagers to restore their own tanks wherever some breaches are there, some small repairs to be attended to. Motivated the villagers and the